The American Revolutionary War was one of the most important periods in U.S. history. But how much do you really know about it? From secret societies to hidden coves, there are plenty of things that most people don't know about this conflict. And today we're going to share some of those secrets with you. Welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be looking at 10 Revolutionary War secrets the Founding Fathers wanted you to forget. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more videos like this. And let's get started. Number 1. Secret societies. If you've ever heard of the Freemasons, then you know that they're a fraternal organization that was founded in the Middle Ages. What many people don't know is that several members of the organization were involved in the planning and execution of the American Revolution. In fact, there were so many Freemasons involved in the war effort that it's been suggested that the revolution itself was a Masonic project. Some historians even go as far as to say that the war was fought to preserve the hard-won Masonic freedoms in America. Regardless, there's no denying that the Freemasons played an important role in the American Revolution. Number 2, the Green Dragon. If you're a fan of beer, then you might be familiar with the Green Dragon. It's a type of stout that originated in China and is now brewed all over the world. What you might not know is that the beer also has a connection to the American Revolution. You see, the Green Dragon was smuggled into colonial America by Chinese sailors who were working for the British East India Company. The sailors would hide the beer on board their ships and then sell it to colonists in secret. This was done because the British government had placed a tax on all imported beer, and the colonists were understandably unhappy about this. As tensions grew between the colonies and Britain, the colonists became more and more reliant on the Green Dragon. By the time the American Revolution started, the beer was being smuggled in by the colonists themselves. And it wasn't just a popular drink, it was a symbol of resistance against British rule. Number 3, the Liberty Tree. The Liberty Tree is a monument that was erected in Boston in 1794 to commemorate the American Revolution. However, what most people don't know is that the tree is actually a replica of the original. You see, the first Liberty Tree was chopped down by British soldiers in 1775. At the time, the tree was seen as a symbol of colonial resistance against British rule, and when it was felled, it was replaced by a new tree that came to be known as the Bunker Hill Monument. Number 4, the First Blood. When most people think of the first battle of the American Revolution, they're thinking of the battles of Lexington and Concord. However, there was actually a third battle that took place on the same day, and it was the first battle in which American troops fired on the British. The battle took place in the town of Lincoln, Massachusetts, and it was between a group of British soldiers and a militia force made up of farmers and shopkeepers. The British were trying to seize a cannon that the militia had been using to defend the town. They were also trying to capture some of the militia leaders. In the end, the British were successful in both of these efforts. However, they suffered heavy casualties in the process. The Battle of Lincoln was significant because it showed the British that the colonists were willing to fight back. It also showed the colonists that they could hold their own against the British Army. Number 5, Valley Forge. The winter of 1777 to 1788 was one of the most difficult periods for the Continental Army. They were stationed at Valley Forge in Pennsylvania, and they were suffering from a lack of food, clothing, and medical supplies. Many of the soldiers were barefoot and shirtless, and they were forced to eat whatever they could find. By the end of the winter, more than 2,000 soldiers had died from exposure and starvation. Despite these hardships, the Continental Army was able to stay together and fight another day. And it was this determination that ultimately led to their victory in the American Revolution. Number 6, secret tunnels. If you visit Philadelphia today, you can explore a series of tunnels that run beneath the city. What you might not know is that these tunnels were used during the American Revolution to smuggle supplies into the city. The tunnels were dug by hand, and they were used to move food, ammunition, and other supplies to the Continental Army. The tunnels were also used to smuggle people into the city. Spies and undercover agents would use them to move around undetected by the British. Number 7, female soldiers. Women played an important role in the American Revolution, but most people don't know that they were also soldiers. There were a number of women who disguised themselves as men and fought in the Continental Army. One of the most famous was Margaret Corbin, who took her husband's place at a cannon after he was killed in battle. She then operated the cannon for several hours, before being wounded herself. Number 8. African Americans. African Americans made up a significant portion of the Continental Army, but their contributions are often overlooked. In fact, most people don't realize that black soldiers were an integral part of the American victory. There were thousands of black Americans who fought for the Continental Army, and they did so despite facing racism and discrimination. Many of these men were slaves, and they were fighting for their own freedom as well as the freedom of their country. Number 9. Native Americans. It's often forgotten that Native Americans were involved in the American Revolution. In fact, they played an important role in the war on both sides. Some tribes, such as the Cherokee and the Choctaw, fought alongside the British, while others, such as the Delaware and the Shawnee, fought alongside the Americans. Ultimately, the war would have a devastating impact on Native Americans. As the United States expanded westward, Native Americans would be pushed further and further off of their land. Number 10. Privateers. Privateers were private ships that were authorized by the government to attack enemy shipping. They were essentially legal pirates, and they played an important role in the American Revolution. Privateers were used by both the Continental Navy and the British Navy. However, they were most effective when used by the Americans. This was because the Americans were able to use privateers to attack British shipping without risking any of their own ships. The privateers would operate with letters of marque, which gave them permission to attack British ships. In the Caribbean and along the coast of North America, American privateers were able to capture or destroy hundreds of British merchant ships. And that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more great videos.